Rahman, Assistant Professor, Orthopedic Surgery, Department of the Orthopedics. Today, the lecture of topic of our lecture is the management of fractures of the lower limb, not the dislocations. Okay. And in this, we will, at the end of the lecture, we will able to understand the main fractures of the lower limb, like the acetabular fracture, pelvic fracture, proximal femoral shaft fractures, and the femoral shaft fracture, and the distal femoral shaft fracture. Rest we will discuss in the next or in the subsequent lectures. The mechanism of injury for the lower limb. The lower limb fractures are usually caused by high energy trauma. There are few exceptions, like in the geriatric and elderly patients, as in the pathological bone. The fracture can occur without in the with low energy trauma. And the fracture types depends on the two things. One is the position of limb at the time of the injury, while the second is the force applied to the body. The management, the proper way to treat the fractures of the lower limb is a holistic approach to the patient. Examine the patient from top to bottom, not only the involved lower limb. So the aim is to treat the patient as a whole to save the life, next the limb, and next the function of the limb. The protocol which we will follow is ATLS, Advanced Trauma Life Support, airway, breathing, circulation, and the deformity which is visible. In the airway, we will look the the breathing is continuous, the airway is maintained. Examine the nostrils, see whether the chest is moving or not, palpate the pulse, and the visible deformity, we will look for that. For the pelvic fractures, different type of pelvic fractures are present. They are classified according to the level, according to the stable fractures and unstable fractures. The pelvic fractures are caused by high energy trauma and motor vehicle accidents and a fall from height. So the tile classify the pelvic fractures in a stable one. The stable one is that where the fracture of the pelvis is not involving the ring of the pelvis. And the A1. In A2, the minimally displaced fracture of the pelvic ring, but there is no instability on physiological weight bearing. In the unstable, there is a fracture of the pelvic rim, and there is displacement on the physiological weight bearing, which is I am going to show in the next subsequent slides. See, this is the pelvic ring. If the fracture is outside this pelvic ring, this is stable one, A1 fracture. And if it is involving the pelvic ring, but it is not displaced, it is the stable fracture. But if the fracture is involving this pelvic ring and it is displaced on, then it is the unstable fracture. So the treatment is aggressive because there are the vital structures, the structures which are necessary are involved in this, like the urinary bladder, the lower end of the large intestine, urethra, and the heavy venous fluxes, and the neurological structures are present. How to diagnose? The X-rays which are required are the AP pelvic view, inlet and outlet view of the pelvic, and the CT scan. This is the example. This is the AP view of the pelvis, including the both hip joints. It is showing the unstable fracture of the pelvic. See, this is the superior ramus. This is the pubic bone. This is the body of the pubic bone. This is inferior ramus, and this is the superior ramus of the pubic. So it is the unstable fracture of the pelvic brim. And the treatment, aggressive treatment, is required by following the advanced ATLS protocol, seeing the airway, breathing, circulation, and exposing the patient to see the visible deformity, not only in the involved limb, but other hidden injuries also. Often X-ray, as in the previous slide, we show the view of the pelvis, in and outlet view, and the CT scan. Inlet view is taken from the, I can explain, the inlet view is taken from the superior part of the body and making an angle of the 45 degrees, showing visible, exposing the pelvic brim, right? Exposing the pelvic brim and the ala of the ilium, both ilium. And while in the outlet view, the beam is coming from the lower and lower side of the body, and it is done to take the to see the bones of the lower part, like the ischium, lower part of the pelvic brim. And the CT scan is done. CT scan is clearing the most of the minute details which are not visible on the X-rays. And think in a systematic approach, not treat only the fracture, but see the vitals and the derangements and try to solve the problem. A specific treatment, type 1, in the type A fracture symptomatic treatment, it needs only immobilization, analgesics, while the stable fracture but involving the pelvic rim, it is fixed by plates, screw, and external fixator. But as in the previous slide, I show the unstable fracture which needs open reduction and fixation with the plates, screw, and plate and screw both can be used. Emergency treatment, as we know, the major vessels are passing through the common iliac vessel is passing from the pelvic brim, and when there is an injury of the pelvis, it can cause rupture of the vessels, and in the posterior part of the large intestine, there is a rich venous fluxes. If injury occurs to this, it will call hematoma and aggressive blood loss, which can cause loss of which can cause in the fall of blood pressure. So to prevent the dislodging of the hematoma, to protect primary blood clot in the pelvis, it is to splint it is very necessary. The pelvic binder we apply at the in the coming slide I will show. Pelvic binder is applied to hold to not release the impending hematoma, and IV fluids to replace the blood loss, early blood transfusion, and fresh frozen plasma if the blood is not present, and platelets and cryoprecipitates are required. To prevent hyperthermia and acidosis is also necessary. Stop other bleeding sites. If there is any bleeding from the other side, try to stop it by pressure, by applying pressure, dressing, compression dressing, and stabilize the pelvis. How to stabilize the pelvis? There are different methods. This is the pelvic binder. This is applied at the level of the greater trochanter to the and above the umbilicus. It is going to stabilize the pelvis and avoiding the release of the hematoma. If it will release, it will call hypotension, severe hypotension. This is the pelvic binder. This is the C-clamp. If the condition is not settling with the pelvic binder and the patient is complaining of continuous pain and the pelvis is unstable, and in the emergency situation we are not able to go for open reduction and internal fixation, then we will apply C-clamp. This is the C-clamp, and this is the external fixator, which is used in the emergency situations to stabilize the pelvic fracture. And this is the open reduction internal fixation of the pelvis. This is the transpedicular screw from the ala of the ilium to the sacrum, and this is the recon plate, which is stable, which is fixing the open book fracture of the pelvis. The complication, what are the different complications which we can face in the pelvic fracture? These are the hemorrhage, life threatening. Hemorrhage is the life threatening condition, injury as the urinary bladder and the bowel are present just behind the symphysis pubis, so the fracture can cause damage. And the neurology, as the in the sacrum the nerves are passing through, and if it will damage, it will cause neurological insult to the patient, obstetrical difficulties in the near future. And if the patient is the female, persistent sacroiliac joint pain and post-traumatic arthritis of the hip if the acetabular fractures are there. Now the thing is the acetabular fracture. Usually it is a result of a high energy trauma. Acetabulum is the part of the pelvis where the femoral head is making a joint with the acetabulum known as the hip joint, and it is the fracture is usually caused by the high energy trauma. The acetabular fracture are divided into the 4 segments. Number 1 is the anterior column and the anterior wall, and the posterior column and the posterior wall. The fractures of the acetabulum are classified and based on their involvement of these structures. There are one known as the primary fractures, and the others are known as the associated injuries. So investigations which are required to know the acetabular fracture are the AP view and the Jude views. These are the oblique views, internal oblique and obturator oblique views, and the CT scan. This is the acetabulum. This is the AP view of the pelvis, including the both hip joints, and this is the acetabulum, and this is the femoral head. To see the different fractures, AP and oblique views of the pelvis and the CT scan are required. See, this is the acetabulum. This is the iliopectineal line. This is the arrow which is following the arrow is the iliopectineal line. This is known as the anterior column, and this is the anterior wall. And this is the ilioischial line. This ilioischial line is the posterior column. This is the posterior column, and the wall, which is blurred, this is known as the posterior wall. This is the iliopectineal line is known as the anterior column, and the ilioischial line is the posterior column. The anterior wall of the acetabulum, and the front line is the posterior wall of the acetabulum. This is the obturator oblique view. How to identify obturator oblique view? If the obturator is most prominent in the X-ray and the iliac blade, as it is not prominent, so it is the obturator oblique view. It is taken by the elevating the injured size 45 degrees and taking the X-ray. In the previous X-ray, we are not able to diagnose the fracture in the acetabulum, but in the obturator oblique view, the fracture is visible. See, the fracture is visible over here, and in this line, fracture is visible. So these are the views required to diagnose the different fractures. Fracture of the anterior column, posterior column, anterior wall, and the posterior wall. This is the oblique iliac view. How to diagnose it? If the iliac blade is very prominent and obturator foramen is not prominent, so it is the oblique iliac view. This is required to iliac oblique view is showing the posterior wall. See, this is the ilioischial line. It is the most important thing which we can diagnose in the posterior column fracture. See, the ilioischial line showing the fracture of the posterior column, and it is the most prominent, second most prominent thing in the iliac oblique view is the anterior wall of the acetabulum. This is the CT scan. This is the femoral head. This is the anterior wall. This is the posterior wall, and this is the roof of the acetabulum. If see the fracture of the posterior wall of the acetabulum, and this is the 3D reconstruction of the same patient, which showing the comminuted fracture of the posterior wall of the acetabulum. The treatment indications for the non-operative treatment and for the operative treatment, and the non-displaced and minimally displaced fractures of the acetabulum are treated with the conservative treatment. Only non-weight bearing non-weight bearing is required, while the fractures with the significant displacement but in which the region of the joint involvement is judged to be unimportant prognostically. If the involved displaced fracture of the acetabulum but not involving the weight bearing area, it can be treated by conservative means. And if the secondary congruence in the fracture is displaced in the both columns of the fracture, so we can also treat such patient by conservative means. If the patient is not medically fit for surgery, then it can also be treated with the conservative means. Local soft tissue condition and condition like infection, wounds, and soft tissue lesions from the blunt trauma can also contraindication for open reduction and internal fixation. And also the elderly patients in whom the bones are osteoporotic, and the implant, if we are going to fix with the implant, they are not going to support the implant, then it is also the contraindication. The treatment is the skeletal traction for 4 to 6 weeks, and then short physiotherapy in bed, partial weight bearing, and full weight bearing. Operative treatment indications for the operative treatment and the acetabulum. If there is a displacement, of the acetabular fragments more than 2 millimeter and or involving the dome of the acetabulum, so this is the indication for acetabular fracture fixation. And if there is any subluxation of the femoral head from a displaced acetabular fracture noted on any of the 3 standard X-rays of the pelvis, AP and obturator oblique and oblique iliac view, if there is a displacement, then it is also the indication for fixation of the acetabular fixation. If the articular surface involving the more than 50% of the articular surface of the posterior wall, as it was visible in this X-ray, it is involving the more than 50% of the posterior wall of the articular surface of the acetabulum. This is the posterior wall. This is the fractured posterior wall. If it is involving more than 50% of the posterior wall's articular surface, then it is the indication of open reduction and internal fixation. If increased fragments in the acetabulum after close reduction of the hip dislocation, if it is the concomitant fracture of the acetabulum and it is associated with the small fragments within the joint, so it is also the indication of open reduction and internal fixation of the acetabular fractures. See, this is the AP view of the pelvis, including the both hip joints, showing the lower sacrum as well as of the lower lumbar spine. See, there are the both sides, there is a acetabular fracture. Here it is involving the dome of the acetabulum, and here it is the displaced fracture of the acetabulum. This is also the indication for open reduction, internal fixation. Why it is the indication for open reduction and internal fixation? Because there, see, this is the congruent articular surface, okay, in the right side, and here it is not congruent articular surface, and the femoral head is also displaced. This is associated with fracture of the acetabular dome and displaced femoral head. So it is the indication for open reduction and internal fixation. How to fix? How to fix? Fixing is by different means. Open reduction, internal fixation by recon plates, as I will show in the subsequent slide. Open reduction, internal fixation with the recon plates. So, the CT scan of the same patient. This is the showing the both acetabula here. This is the undisplaced fracture, and see this is the displaced fracture of the posterior wall of the acetabulum, and see this is the more than 2 to 3 fragments of the posterior wall of the acetabulum. This is the femoral head, and this is the femoral head, and this is the congruent hip joint, left hip joint, and this is the right one is the displaced one. The same fracture and fixed by the different CT scan of the different patient having the left fracture of the posterior wall as well as the column of the acetabulum, which is fixed by recon plate. This is the recon plate. The posterior column and posterior wall of the posterior wall of the acetabulum is fixed by a recon plate, and patient has simultaneously fracture of the greater trochanter, which is fixed by these cancellous cannulated screws. These are the other patients having the acetabular fracture. See, this is the iliopectineal line, normal side iliopectineal line. This is the ilioischial line, iliopectineal line and ilioischial line. See here, there is a fracture of the iliopectineal line is disrupted at this point, and ilioischial line is normal on this way, APU. While on the obturator view, see, there is a also break of the iliopectineal line and ilioischial line. So in AP view, only the iliopectineal or anterior iliopectineal line is disrupted, while in the obturator oblique view, the iliopectineal as well as the ilioischial line is also disrupted, and there is a transverse fracture of the acetabular dome. So how it is fixed? Fixation by the fixing the both the anterior column, anterior wall, posterior wall, and the posterior wall of the acetabulum. And there is also undisplaced fracture of the greater trochanter, which is fixed by cannulated cancellous screw. So now you might be able to understand the importance of the AP obturator oblique and the iliac oblique Jude views for the acetabular fractures. And the complication, what are the different complications? Complication post-traumatic arthritis, if there is a, you can appreciate if there is a fracture like the both column fracture and associated with the hip dislocation. So there are the chances of post-traumatic arthritis, which is about 70% posterior arthritis of the hip joint, and the avascular necrosis due to disruption of the blood supply is about 7.5%. Infections are reported to occur in about 1 to 5% of the cases of the acetabular fracture in open reduction and internal fixation. Neurological injury, sciatic nerve injury, palsies are up to 10 to 15%, and heterotrophic ossification, which is also occur about 5 to 7% in extent, because due to acetabulum is the deepest part of the hip joint. So for approaching the acetabulam, we need extensive approach and extensive soft tissue manipulation. So it can cause heterotrophic ossification. Deposition of the calcium in the soft tissue is known as a heterotrophic ossification. And for the fracture of femur, we have discussed the pelvic fracture, acetabular fractures. Now the fracture of the femur. Fracture of neck of femur. It is the common. The most of the surgeries by the orthopedic surgeons throughout the world are performed around the hip joint. Around the hip joint. So the fracture of neck of femur is, you can say, are the most common fracture which is faced by the orthopedicians or the trauma surgeons. So non-displaced fracture of the neck of femur can be treated with the cannulated screws. If the fracture is displaced, it is treated by DHS in patients of if the patient is less than 60 years. If it is more than 60 years, it is depends on the few things like the level of the activity and the status of the acetabulum. If the patient is mobile, mobile and have a long lifespan, so it should be treated by the hemiorthoplasty. And if the patient have a sedentary lifestyle and it is not much more active, so it can be treated with the total hip replacement. While the intertrochanteric fracture can be treated by DHS, dynamic hip screw, dynamic compression plate, and now the new modalities of the PFNA, proximal femoral nail, PFNA. And the subtrochanteric fractures are treated by the dynamic hip screw, angle blade plate, dynamic compression plate in children's. While the combination of both also can be used in the intramedullary nail with the cannulated screw, which is I will show in the few next coming slides. See, this is the neck of the this is the head of the femur, this is the neck of the femur, this is the greater torque, and this is the lesser torque. If the fracture is through this is the transcervical fracture. So if it is undisplaced, it can be fixed with the cannulated screws. And if the patient is young, it can be treated by it should be treated by the cannulated screws. And if the patient is not young, it is old and more than 60 years of age, then it should be treated by this bipolar hemiorthoplasty. Bipolar hemiorthoplasty. This is the undisplaced fracture. In X-ray, there is nothing is visible in the both views of the right hip joint, but in the MRI there is a area shown which is further investigated by the MRI. So undisplaced fracture of neck of femur which was fixed with cannulated screws. And this is the recon nail. If it is the fracture neck of the femur is associated with subtrochanteric fracture neck of the femur, there it is, and subtrochanteric fracture are present in the same patient are fixed with recon nail. By recon nail, we are addressing both fractures with the single device. This is the recon nail. The nail passed from the piriformis fossa to the length throughout the length of the femur, and the neck is fixed with these screws. And this is the DHS, dynamic hip screw. If the fracture is in this region, this greater torque, this is lesser torque. Fracture is in the greater trochanteric region, intertrochanteric fracture. It should be fixed by this. This device is known as dynamic hip screw. Dynamic hip screw. This is the leg screw involving the hip joint, and this is the side blade plate. Side blade plate. And this is another example of the subtrochanteric fracture and neck of the fracture, which are fixed with recon nail. These are the follow-up X-rays which are showing there is the fracture is visible, it is healing, and this X-ray is almost healed. These are the fractures of the distal shaft of the femur, and distal third of the femur, which are fixed by the retrograde nail. If the nail is entered from the distal portion of the in between the condyles of the femur around the knee, it is known as the retrograde nailing of the femur. It is used for supracondylar and distal third of the femoral shaft fractures, which are not manageable by the antegrade nailing. What is antegrade nailing? Antegrade nailing is the one where the nail is passed from the piriformis fossa and the near the greater trochanter of the femur. It is known as the antegrade nailing. This is the Wicon nail, which is the example of antegrade nailing, and this is the example of retrograde nailing. The implant was passed through the distal end of the femur to fix the fracture of the distal third of the femur. This is the DCS, dynamic compression screw. Dynamic compression screw. See, the things which are visible is the fracture of the distal third of the femur, which is fixed by a right angle device, right angle up to it makes an angle of 95 degree with the shaft of the femur. A device which is making an angle of 95 degree to the shaft of the femur. The fractures of the distal third of the femur are fixed by DCS, dynamic condylar screw, and the woolly appearance is of the bone graft, which is this is the AP view, this is the lateral view, and this is the follow-up. This is the another patient. The same fracture is fixed by condylar blade plate. See, this is the leg screw, and this in this device there is no leg screw, but only the angle blade plate. No? Condylar blade plate. Only the blade plate is applied. The condylar blade plate. The difference, you may have a question in your mind that why the same fracture is fixed by different modalities. This is the old one. Condylar blade plate was the previous implant, but nowadays DCS and the distal locking femoral plates are used for distal third femoral fractures or supracondylar and intercondylar fractures of the femur. So the same fracture is fixed by different devices. The dynamic DCS, dynamic compression screw, and the condylar blade plate. Thank you. If there is any question, so you may ask in the chat. Thank you.
सर एंड कर दूं लेक्चर?
जी एंड कर दूं. ठीक है जी.
ओके, थैंक यू सो मच. टेक केयर सर.
थैंक यू.
अल्लाह हाफिज.
अल्लाह हाफिज.